Time for our social media chat from that music break. Joy Chelagat, social media commentator, with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Sometimes I wish I was the one being interviewed.
we should reverse roles sometime.
Like, yeah, I'm always shooting the questions. Anyway, let's start with what has been trending this past week. Baba Waliowe has done quite the round. It's been at the top for a while now.
It is. If you look at the week's trends, you know, it's just been maintaining there. And for me, I think it made some people shuku my sanity. You know, how you're sitting with guys in a mat and it's very quiet, and then all of a sudden you start laughing because you know on Twitter and you're like, someone's looking at you like you're laughing by yourself.
Yeah.
And you don't have any earphones on or anything, but it's been ridiculous. But I mean, it's also been funny because Kenyans have really been making rather comical remarks about certain things. One of my favorite ones was about Olelenko. You guys are talking about Olelenko earlier, and someone was saying, Baba Olelenko became the lead actor in The Lies That Bind.
Lies That Bind. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So Olelenko was also brought into the whole bandwagon.
Yes, and then there's this other one which I liked. Baba Olelenko, I think we were sold to the Chinese, and I changed my name for Ochieng to Ochi.
Ochieng.
I was like, oh dear.
I saw that one too, and I was like, hilarious. And it got quite a number of retweets as well.
I think I saw one of them had over 900 retweets.
Really? And it's still here, because actually, let me just open this and see some of those. So who started this? Do we know?
Well, some people are claiming that there are clips that started it. Then some people are claiming it's from, you know, when your parents would go away and the kids would come back. I know. You know that kid who would always be the one who rats everyone out. And you know, so and so did this. So yeah. And then someone did a spoof. I don't know if we can get it, but someone had the Raila, you know, bring back our girls. So someone had a really, really sour face. He was like, bring back our Raila, you know.
Well, he's coming back.
Yes.
He's coming back for sure. I'm seeing some here. Food suddenly developed feelings. Somebody's saying, Baba Waliowe, food suddenly developed feelings. For example, eggs became sad. Gith became boring and chips stupid. Okay.
And this is because of the aroma thing. Remember the aroma where the eggs
I've never
and then...
gotten this aroma thing. What is it about? I've seen a lot of, but I don't know.
We talked about it. Remember the time we were talking about memes and we were saying that sometimes agencies and companies use memes to publicize themselves. Okay. So what these guys wanted was a brand identity. So for them...
there you go.
Ah, yes, bring back our right.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Yes.
So yeah, the Arama thing, what they wanted was brand identity. They wanted guys to look at their, you know, be able to identify whatever it is their product was. So they started this social media campaign. And then the goodness with it is that people love sharing jokes. So guys would just WhatsApp each other. And I remember I WhatsApped guys quite a number, especially Erico Mondis. You saw Erico Mondis? He was really skinny. Then afterward, he had this whole buff body. Yes. Like a Sauti Sol Nishike guy. Oh, yeah. So, yeah,
I like how
did pretty well. One of the pictures we got, Baba Waliowe, people were told to remove their tints. Have you seen that?
That's yet to come up on screen. There you go.
There, I mean, like, Verari Sidika removed her tint after Eji Kimaya said that. Then Baba Waliowe, this was after Nishike, Sauti Sol. After Nishike, Sauti Sol came out.
This kind of stuff, so guys can wear that.
Yes, and you know, it's interesting because guys have always been hitting on mamas because of...
Oh, no. By the way, oh, gosh, that is the P in the police.
I know.
And
then there was another one about her, and they were saying that Atibaboy found the missing piece of apple.
Oh, yes, I saw that one. Oh, God. And the before and after with the apple kind of chopped.
Yeah, I know.
Flat out one. God, Kenyans and the memes and things they come up with. Yes. So when we're talking about the things that trend, I know we've had this conversation before, and what makes you know, certain things trend really is about comic relief, something that would just get guys to, you know, chill out, not serious stuff most of the time.
Definitely. And now we're seeing corporates, and it's interesting, we talked about it, corporates actually taking advantage of that and seeing how can we use comedy to push our product. And that's why you found like the Aromat thing went very well. Now everyone even says Aromat is this, Aromat is this, and now the brand name is rolling off of everyone's tongue. So I think that's really good. And it kind of shows that, you know, people are evolving. Even marketing is evolving now, that people are thinking, how can you use memes, how can you use social media in a way that we're not just pushing out normal, you know, boring marketing content, but how can we market using comedy and great stuff. So it's working well.
I wonder if Raila Odinga himself has read. I'm sure he's been told about it. It will be interesting to read what people are dating you on a light note, of course.
Yes.
But other than that trend, which is still on the trending list, Sonko and Shebesh, the Nairobi leaders,
Yes, Sonko and Shebesh, the gun drama. And you guys were like, you just guys, whatever has to do, sort it out. Because we had the first altercation. Then after a while, we had a second altercation in a hotel room. Then after this, now you guys are having a gun drama. So guys are saying, if this goes on, you know, we'll have tanks and, you know, the whole thing. Because it seems to be escalating, you know. Initially, it was a few, you know, like an altercation aside. And then next time, it was punching. Now it's guns in the air. And then the other thing that people are commenting on, there was a picture of Sonko paying 300,000 in cash. You saw that photo going around to the owner, I think, of the bar because of
I had the reports of it.
So now the issue was, someone was saying it looks like a publicity stunt, you know, or he's spinning it for his publicity because then he has pictures.
Isn't he I feel like he's always in his head, it's all about the publicity. Look at the call to the president with those demolitions. The president was on loudspeaker. So for him, it's always about getting, you know, people to talk about him and what he's doing. I think he's got a good PR machinery working in his head in terms of getting him trending.
Well, I can't say good. I can just say effective.
Not good, effective. Thank you.
Because I actually saw the video. I saw the video on Instagram because I saw someone had shared. I was like, okay, cool. So I checked it out. I was like, huh? That's interesting.
Right.
But I don't know. I feel like, and then I think the thing that many people, Kenyans on social media are like, again? You know, as in, what is this? You know, the first time it was like, oh my gosh. The second time it was like, again. But now it's getting stale. I feel the Kenyans are getting sick of it.
And I find that most of the comments will come out, guys, like, this is your senator. I mean, he was elected. He's senator for everybody. But you find that most of the people on social media, those perhaps who did not vote for him, because a lot of that comes in with, you know, criticism and all, and you're wondering, so how did this guy get into office? And
then, you know, there's this whole thing where Kenyans on social media, you know, the Mkurukozaka bug thing, like, you know, Twitter guys are up there, you know, they're very polished and stuff, so they hate on other guys. But I mean, at the end of the day, it still comes back to normal Kenyans. We always gripe about our leaders, but then at the end of the 5-year term, we'll go back and put them in office. So but yeah, I think there was a lot of social media comments about that, especially the fact that there were guns involved and it was in a public place as well.
And how he calls his followers watu wangu.
Yes.
It's also said that it's a comment that he posted on Facebook that started this whole drama.
Yes, I read a report on sanamedia.co.ke and he's saying that on his side of the story, it's very interesting how he shared it. He said that the reason why they argued was really not because he was following Shebesh, as Shebesh claimed. He said that I bought Shebesh a range for 8.5M and I'd paid a certain amount, I think 4.5 or 4.5 was remaining or something like that. So he was supposed to pay the remainder, but since they fell out, he decided not to pay the remainder, then the car was taken back. So now he's saying that she's always had issues with him because of that. So while he was going to the dance, he got confronted, I think, by someone from Shebesh's team telling him, why are you falling around Shebesh, blah, blah, blah. So immediately what he did is he reported the matter and then posted it on his Facebook page. Then a few moments later, there's an altercation in place.
Doesn't it just reek of, you know, high school kind of behavior? I mean, for me, that's what I cannot get out of all this, because I look at, there's a time after the pictures and not very good pictures that went online about them, and I bumped into the two of them, you know, very happy. So I always wonder, is it also just stunts to get people talking about them, or what it is about? Because it's annoying, to see leaders behave that way, honestly, for everyone, and I don't know what it is they get out of it.
I think it's a reflection of guys, because look at what people do on their social these days. You vent everything on your social. Oh, MG, just with my ex, he did this, and guys will have an altercation, you know, in a public place. So I think the problem is generally almost all of us, that we
all behave that way.
No, I can't say almost all of, but I'm saying some. A good number of guys behave in a manner that just attracts a lot of drama, and it's like, you know, whatever, man, I don't care, you know, and you act all crazy, and then later on, this person 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, applies for office and runs through the whole process, and they become senator.
But bottom line is he definitely appeals to quite the constituency, a huge constituency, and that he's consistent with his craziness and his theatrics.
But you know, some people will contend that any publicity is good publicity.
True.
So
okay. Well, we'll continue to see season 4. That was season 3. We'll see what season 4
and this time with tanks,
With tanks, starring the Nairobi senator and woman rep. Anyway, then there's, on a sad note, of course, did you know, by the way, the owner of Manchester United died?
I didn't know.
No, the day, I think, after Maya Angelou. But let's talk about Maya Angelou for a while. And we're talking about how when, you know, huge figures, international icons will pass away, and people around the world will take to social media. I saw a lot of tweets, a lot of pictures, Instagram, you know, those who managed maybe to take one with them, or just how they inspired them. That's how people deal with grief.
Yes, yes. You know, you belong to the public to some extent, when you're a public figure. And someone like Maya has been very, very instrumental in the fight for equality in the US. And because of all that, you know, she was such a figure. And I remember Clinton requested during his inaugural address in 1993 for her to read a poem and compose a poem. So she's a person who in the freedom fight in the US, she has done a lot. And because of that, I mean, she was someone who people really treasured, because, you know, equality for black people was not just a fight in the US, but it was a fight all over, because once they were accepted in that nation, to some extent, you know, it kind of, later on, you know, 50 years later, that's when Barack Obama comes in, and, you know, because of that, he was able to go through. So I think it's very important. However, the other thing about Maya Angelou that came out is all these stories about her life that no one knew.
I know.
I read one that I think for me was so touching. She was saying how she was raped, I think at the age of 7 or 8.
Yeah, and the Standard has that story.
Yes.
Yeah, page 3.
She was raped at the age of 7, 8, and it was by her mother's boyfriend. Her parents had a very calamitous relationship. And because of that, you know, I think the guy who testified, and her relatives and the people who were there were so angered by the fact that this man defiled this young lady, and they kicked him to death. And she saw that, and for 5 years she was a selective mute.
Yeah,
she couldn't talk because she thought that her words killed this man. And that's when her love for literature came out. So I think it's her story is just, I think anyone who can actually get her books, because her books are, most of them are autobiographical, so if you read it, you get a lot about her, a lot about her story and what she went through. Another very interesting, but I think it was in bad taste. I think it was the New York Post. One of these, it must have been the New York Post, because I was reading it, and they were saying, one of the ones anyways, but they were saying that a cook, a prostitute, a poet, and so they were talking about her, I think. So I was thinking, why did they put the prostitute in the headline?
Yeah.
Okay, she writes about it. She writes about it in her biography, yes, and talks about a very dark period in her life. But the fact that they went ahead and wrote that in there, I was like,
for the headline, and how we see people, you know, in terms of mourning and celebrating life of, you know, those that have gone, is some will use their pictures as their profile pictures.
Yes.
A lot of their quotes, if they had any, and just messages of
actually I saw a lot of that. I saw a lot of guys quoting her poems, especially her poems about freedom and love and equality. A lot of guys were quoting that. I saw a lot of guys sharing, you know, she's had public readings of her poetry and her books. So I saw guys sharing the public readings of her poetry and her books, and it was really touching. And then, you know, somehow it kind of makes you feel like, oh man, you know, you're gone. But I think the other thing is, why don't we ever celebrate these people before they're gone? Why don't we? Because it's like now after they're gone is when everyone on social media is like, oh, Maya, Maya, Maya. But we never did anything whenever she did anything else. So I feel like Kenyans on social media should actually take advantage of, even now within Kenya, the guys who have done great things, let's celebrate them now.
I guess it's a big thing in as far as human nature is concerned. That tends to happen a lot, even in funerals. You'll see people come and say, oh, this person is my role model and all kind of things. But you're right. I like, for example, when Oprah finished her 25 seasons, there was this huge celebration. So I've always felt the day it comes, you know, she'll always know how she was appreciated. She already knows that, she felt that, she saw that. So I think it's always good to have that huge mark that you want somebody to know that you made in your life. Communicate it to them. Before we go, the socialites in the United States, Kim Kardashian got married. So apparently her picture on Instagram, her wedding picture, is the most liked picture.
Wow.
It beat, I think there was one by Justin Bieber that had really done well in Instagram's history. So that one was the best. Have you seen the pictures?
I've seen the pictures, but what made me laugh was the way, I'm trying to remember which American, the Kimia words, yawn. You saw that one?
I know, yes, I saw the article. Yawn, we don't care.
We don't care, like, oh
But they reported on it. That's something you were saying. Bad publicity, whatever it is they think about them, they reported on it.
Yes. They reported on it. And they were saying the takiest kind of wedding, you know, and they're talking about how it was all up like a publicity. It was very well publicized, and so
they actually did a good job publicizing it in terms of their, you know, anticipation ahead of the wedding. There was Paris, and then there was Italy. They spent a lot of money.
Yes, they did.
Celebrity friends. But what I liked is that they chose not to record the wedding, at least for, you know, their show or whatever, because then it's gonna feel like, okay, this is wedding number 2 or 3, we're waiting for wedding number 4. So we saw all of, you know, the stuff that happened before and after, and yeah.
And we're finding like it's kind of seeping into Kenya, because remember when Grandpa Records owner got married and his photos were everywhere.
Yes.
All blogs everywhere. So I'm finding a lot of celebrities in Kenya also going all public with their weddings. And so we'll see that trickle in, because we always tend to mirror what's happening in the US one way or the other.
Okay, if we still have that picture, excuse me, we can go and break with it. There's a picture I've seen, the Real Housewives
of Rongai.
Yeah, tell us about that a little bit.
While you're away, the Real Housewives of Rongai
was launched. Do we have the picture still? I'm guessing as we wind up, when we return, great conversation on set. Is a ladies event, not ladies event, it's a gig that's going down this Wednesday. We'll tell you about it, and we have amazing stars. You may not have from Nazizi for a while, but she's going to be here. We're going to catch up with her. We're going to catch up with the money, and of course the lovely Sheila Kwambox is here as well. You got a picture of Real Housewives. Tukienda break. We will have it.
Oh, we'll have it. All right.
We'll come back. Don't go away. This is Morning Express.